This show is sponsored by Realtor Cynthia Bear, Putting Down Roots. Visit your in-town real estate specialist in Atlanta at cynthiabaer.com.
You are now tuned in to the Good Gracious Show. Welcome.
Howdy, Good Gracious family. It is Sunday, November 11th, 2018. This is Boyd Baker saying Happy Veterans Day to everybody and all those wonderful veterans who've served the great United States of America. My grandfather served in the Navy and very proud and learned much from him. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. And this is Good Gracious Show episode 119. And just a little preface here. I wanted to let you know scheduling's been a little awkward, so I'm going to move to a every other week. If you've wondered where the launch is, I've got some interesting side projects going on right now, and I'm not sure if they're going to dovetail into this, but wanted to just be upfront that it's working better, at least in the near future, to have every other week. So that being said, it's beautiful here in Georgia. It's crisp. It's clear. Today high is in the 50s, maybe 60. And this afternoon, we've got the Atlanta United playoff games going on, and I'm going to take the whole family down there to that, and hopefully we'll cheer on a victory to our Five Stripes. So I hope you've been doing well. The folks on this episode are, as always, super interesting, very marvelous. James Carr came to talk about the Farmers Jam coming up, where he's created a way for us to support farmers and engage with them in an artsier way. So he's organized this jam because he's found that a lot of the farmers in the region are also musicians. And so he said, hey, why not get together and let them have some fun and, meet customers as well as new friends. And at the same time, they'll take some of the produce that's been raised here in Georgia, some of the fruit, and make jam. So they'll sell the jam to support the farmers and also, just have a great turnout. So anyway, it's pretty amazing. That's coming up at the end of this week. And I also sat down with Gabbie Rotts, musician Gabbie Rotts, person Gabbie Watts. I'd like to say I could tell you more about her, but I really think you just need to listen because she came in with one of her bandmates and they just kind of dominated the microphones, and I just sat back and enjoyed the ride. So have a wonderful time plugging your ears with this fabulous podcast. Enjoy.
So my name's Gabbie Watts, and I named the band Gabbie Rotts after myself, obviously. So I am the songwriter, and then I always call myself more of the lead wailer, because it's like kind of singing. I've gotten better at singing, but it was kind of more screaming. At one point I play guitar in the band as well. So that's what I do in the band. And then I also do comedy, and I used to work in radio and now do data entry. Oh, yeah. It's real cool. A glamorous
Living the life.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Olivia Honey. I play bass and sing backup in Gabbie Rotts. I do nothing outside of that. That's my
That's awesome.
We're very rich.
Yeah, it's good. It's good when you
with
have
our
money.
2 fans.
Yeah.
They give us all of our money.
All you need is one.
Did I say fan or did I say mom? I don't know. I can't remember.
We have 3 moms, and they all are very supportive.
Yeah.
Because there's a third member of the band.
There's a third member of the band.
Yeah.
We all have mothers.
Yeah.
And they're all
Don't
very
we all?
supportive. And actually, I think the fun thing is that our drummer, Emily, had stopped cursing because of Olivia's mom.
Yeah.
Because Olivia's mom's not as into bad language, which we don't have as much profane language as we used to.
That's true.
But yeah, we're Puritan punks.
Puritan. Ooh, I like that. Puritan punk. Quake
Made that up
rock.
on the spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something
I'm just
good.
here with the snappy
There you go.
things.
The rejoinders.
Yeah.
We'll call it that. Whatever.
But yeah, I really love my mom, and now Emily does too, and really wants her approval like I do. And so she's taken it a step further and has
So
removed
as
profane
artists will say, you've stopped really working on your vision and you're trying to please your
Her mother.
mothers.
I mean,
Yeah.
isn't that life?
Yeah.
I mean, I think with me, I probably have more issues around like trying to please my father, but I think because I feel like my mom was always pleased with what I do, and like my mom's Facebook, she only recently got Facebook, but her whole Facebook feed is just reposting things about the stuff that I do. And then my older sister's an artist, so she also just reposts like, oh, my daughters are doing these things, aren't they cool? And that's just basically her whole Facebook.
Yeah, it's pretty
Her
great.
brand is her children.
We've all added each other's moms. This is a lot about moms so far. We've added each other's moms on Facebook, and your mom did put the other day about our radio spot that we're doing on WREK soon.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, trigger warning, there will be no lullabies.
We do
It's like
have
a
a
10
lullaby
p.m.
though. It's called Nihilist Lullaby. It's nihilist.
It is very
No, it's more
nice.
fatalist to be honest.
Does it make you sleepy though? That's really, isn't that the key?
I mean,
to
I
a
think
good lullaby?
the sound of it could lull you to sleep, but then like the content might keep you awake
Yeah, because it's like there's no meaning.
So you're being contrarian when you say
a
lullaby.
little bit.
Yeah. It's basically, it's only a minute long, which I think is a great length for a song. And it, basically, it's a mother talking to their child, being like, you know, the only reason you're alive is so you give my life, meaning life is terrible and you're going to die, and I'm sorry that I made you.
Oh,
Isn't
man.
that refreshing?
This is
Good
great,
morning.
man. This is a good morning chat. You know?
morning.
Get your day going just right, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the reality is it can only go up from here, right? That's the way we got to look at it.
No, it could get worse, for sure. It could.
I see
for
where you're
sure.
coming from here. I see where we're going. Yeah.
I think nihilism's fun, though. I mean, it's like once you're like, oh yeah, nothing matters, then I feel like that's pretty liberating, you know?
I have to agree. That's exactly the way I grew up in high school. And once I read Albert Camus, and I read The Stranger, and I said, oh, life is just experiences. Bad isn't bad. It's just a different experience. And then it kind of opened up okay, maybe I can restructure this.
Totally.
Isn't it pronounced Camus? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Camus?
It's Alberto Camus.
Alberto Camus.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, speaking of nihilist, one time I was babysitting for...
Sorry, I've never ever talked to you about babysitting. I don't think I can imagine that, but please
Well,
proceed.
these were small little children, so they like would just go to sleep, and then I would like come over, and then their parents would go out, and then if they
You
like...
just sit on the couch and eat their food.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Look
ideal.
through all their stuff. You know,
Maybe.
the usual. But they were like kind of... They had like two friends from out of town who... I think they're probably from like more South Georgia. And it was just really funny because I was reading Nietzsche. I don't know. I was just like being a casual weird person reading Nietzsche, and then like they came back after their dinner, and one of the ladies saw the book on the table, and she was like, "Oh my God, Nietzsche!" I was like, "Yeah, Nietzsche, my boy Nietzsche."
Aw.
Anyway, that was a tangent.
That's an aside. We'll do that. That's okay.
Netsky.
Nietzsche.
So how did you guys come together musically, or were you friends first?
We were friends first.
And did you say, we ought to start a band? Or was it you just kind of supported each other's
It was
artistic...
coercion.
I like to say Gabbie tricked me into being in the band.
Heck yeah, I did. And our drummer.
Is it like a
Emily.
band roofie or something? Is that how it happened?
no.
No chemicals involved.
No
No chemicals.
Just deceit.
Well, what had happened was Olivia, excuse me, Olivia and I met through basically, well, we say it was like a networking connection because we both went to school elsewhere, and then we came back to Atlanta where we're both from, and we're both working in radio basically, and so then we knew another woman who was working in radio, and she's like, oh, y'all should be friends. So we met then.
Were you at NPR? Is that why she talked that way? Y'all should be friends.
Yes, it was NPR. This is my NPR voice. You might recognize me, Gabbie Watts.
And that was back in 2014.
Yes,
That was a while ago.
2014. So we'd both just graduated from college, in that post-college blues of like, oh, what's life? And then we became friends, and then I wanted to start a band, and I asked you, I guess maybe in 2015 I asked you to be in a band. Maybe, but then it didn't work. You had a lot of things going on, and then I kept asking you to be in a band, and then I started a different band. And then after a while, then you were vaguely in that band. Once the drummer in that band couldn't be in that band was falling apart. So then...
So it morphed into a new thing.
Yeah, we went... There was a time when we were going to be a band called The Mods, and we tried working on songs together, and that didn't end up working out. And then Gabbie started country, and I was very supportive of country, and I went to like all the country shows and knew all the words and such. And then Gabbie drove me to Montgomery, Alabama to visit a friend of ours who had moved there. And that weekend she was kind of like, do you want to just sing with us at this house show we're doing coming up? And I was like, yeah, why not? Because I had been involved in setting up that house show a little bit. And then after that it was like, hey, we're doing an EP. Do you want to be on the EP? And I was like, okay. I mean, I guess I just learned 4 songs. Oh, yeah. Can do that. And then it was, hey, we're going on tour. And I was like, Gabbie, am I in the band? Am I in the band now? And then I was...
Yeah, see, it was a trick.
Yeah.
Also, I asked Emily, our drummer, to be in the band temporarily because the other drummer of my old band wasn't able to do it anymore. But then, she's just still temporarily our drummer, like a year.
She's a perm temp.
A year and a few months later. Oopsies, haha.
Yeah, and she's the best. It's really a shame that she can't be here because I like to say she's the... Gabbie says she's the talented one, which I think is true. And I also think she's probably the funniest one, despite both of us trying really hard to be funny.
Wow, that's really insulting since I do comedy, but it's fine.
You know she's funny.
Off the cuff, yeah, she's good. She is good. She's good. Okay.
You're also very funny.
Put her spotlight on her, she's no good, but off the cuff, she's really solid.
Yeah.
You can cut this if it's too hurtful to Gabbie's feelings. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
It's fine. We'll process later.
Well,
Gabbie's very funny on the record.
Yeah.
But I have to write it out and practice it a lot, and then it's there.
It's not just a natural. You're saying you're not a natural? Is that what I mean?
I guess, no. I guess I'm very sarcastic, and that's just my whole thing.
That's your shtick.
Yeah.
Well, so what is the music? What how do we peg it? How do you tell your moms and dads not to come, or to come, your friends? You say, hey, we're doing this jazzy kind of what?
You don't say that.
It's not jazzy.
That would be a cool trick.
Grudge pop. Not grunge pop, but grudge pop. Because a lot of the songs are just a lot of burns against people and a lot of anger. Very anger and feelings forward. Yeah, it's kind of, I guess it's like pop punk. But then Olivia and Emily are also extremely good singers. So then they're help me in making some like very nice harmonic parts. So it's kind of like there's like an element of, I think you can still feel the folkiness a little bit, kind of in the more vocal arrangements, but then it's pretty just like straight ahead, let's be loud, and like play
it's
3
cathartic.
chords and be, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit Riot Girl, although not more in like a vibe sense than in like a musical sense.
Yeah, and also in a aesthetic sense, because I think Emily was correct in saying that we don't, even though I said we're Puritan punks, I don't think we're like necessarily of the punk ethos. Like, we all have jobs and we like, that's not very punk.
It's not.
None of us are starving.
That's okay.
None of us are raging. I mean, we're all very mad about things that happen in the world. But I think we also have like sensible conversations as opposed to like yelling about things all the time.
We live pretty stable lives.
Yeah,
overall.
we're too stable to be.
So you're kind of like superheroes, and by day one thing, and
Yes.
then by band another, a little bit.
I think so. Yeah, we do also sometimes joke. This is a very long answer to what is your music, but we also sometimes joke that Gabbie and I were too busy doing our homework in high school to get all of our teenage angst out in a band, and now we're like releasing all of that.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I've had to have so many conversations with my parents about the content of our music. They're like, really? You want to do this kind of music? And I'm like, yeah, it's fun. And it like doesn't line up.
Doesn't register, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it, like the music, what I really appreciate about it is that it is fun. And I think that's kind of, I think there was a time where I was like writing more like sad ballads and being like, oh, my sadness, my feelings. But it's definitely more, like if you have fun music, I think that's like more fulfilling. And particularly if you think of it as like, you know, people come to your shows and they like jump up and down. They're like, oh yeah, we're having a good time, as opposed to like some sad person on stage. I mean, it's like you can still be in your feelings at these like sort of like sadder shows, low key shows, but I still think it's more fun. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, we have a really good time.
Yeah, so that's
I
good.
keep thinking our friends are going to get sick of it, but they're actually like, no, like, I'm excited about learning to sing along. They like come and they chill and dance.
So what's been going on with recording? Anything? Do we just kind of pick pieces here and there? You got any plans? Well,
we have an album that just came out, so that's a full length. It's 10 songs, and then there's a 11th track that's just ridiculous. And
I'm shocked.
Can you believe it?
I can't.
Can you believe we would do something silly?
I cannot. See
Like
the album being 17 hours long, though. Yeah. I can see that.
It is 26 minutes long. It is very short.
Are we too long-winded? Is that your way of saying to stop talking?
Not at all. Not
We
at
do have
all.
a song called Stop Talking to Me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, well,
Pause.
I guess, I don't know if this is important or not, but Gabbie, as a solo project, did put out a Gabbie Rotts EP in late summer 2017. And we still play some of those songs, although Emily and I were not on that recording because it was your solo thing at the time. And now it's our whole band, and we have this LP. So we have like a maximum of 14 songs. That we play.
We got 14 songs. And then 14, yeah. And then...
the album is called Pink Drink Season.
Yeah, it's about pink. The first track is called Pink Drink DUI. If I get a DUI, it's because I'm drinking pink wine.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously not the most wholesome way to start an album. It's not wholesome at all.
We don't encourage.
We don't encourage. Yeah, we don't encourage it. It just is a funny sentence. So that's the thing about comedy. Is it helpful, harmful? Maybe it's harmful. But so we have that, and that we record that with Jared Pepper over at Broad Street Visitor Center, which I guess is one of the last holdouts over on Broad Street after Newport bought everything. So, and Jared and Dan, they built this just beautiful studio over there, and they literally built the floors, and they spend a lot of their time doing their more kind of experimental work there in their project called Visitors. But it's really fun. Jared's super nice and super supportive, and I know Emily hasn't in her past because has other projects, and I know that she hasn't always had the best recording experiences. But working with Jared, he's just very supportive and will just say yes to everything. And the only times he ever is oh well, maybe you should do this, it's always a really good idea, and it's kind of falls in line with the exact vibe of what we're trying to go for. So
yeah, he's wonderful.
So I recorded the EP with him, and he played drums on it. He's a fantastic drummer as well. And then last April is when we did the whole album. And then we put it out officially on August 10th, August 11th on the internet. And then obviously I made cassettes because everyone loves cassettes.
That's what they're doing these days.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
2018.
No one buys them, but I think they look cool. So
actually, one of our friends told me the other day that she really is mad that she hasn't bought a cassette from you yet, and she needs to get on that.
Yeah, I only have 1,000. No, I don't have 1,000. No, I think I only got 100 because I was that seems, if we're lucky, we can sell 100.
So when you write, is it all you, or is it a team effort, or do you just say, "Hey guys, here's the music"?
Yeah, kind of like that. I'm sort of a dictator, but then also sort of receptive.
Well, yeah,
That's what a dictator would say. I'm sort of receptive.
No, it's actually
Olivia,
great.
You may speak now. That's what I said before. I was you're allowed to speak in this interview.
Yeah, well, because I said, are we just playing music, or are you going to be interviewed? And Gabbie was like, you may speak. But among our many jokes about what we're doing as a band, one of them is that the reason Gabbie Rotts works so well as a band is that Emily and I just do whatever Gabbie wants, which actually
You're following a vision.
It is great. It's great. Emily is a brilliant songwriter and multi-instrumentalist and singer, and she has other projects where she does all of her music.
Shout out to Total Babe.
Shout out to
to the Skipperdies.
Yeah, both of
They're
them.
great. You should
incredible.
have them
I've tried. I've reached out to both of them. They
Have you
refuse
really?
to talk to me.
Oh, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll get it. Well, we'll try to convince them. Total Babe, they're so good. Ugh.
I love Total. I like to
Breaking
say Total
hearts.
Babe is my favorite band. Although Gabbie Rotts is, right up there too. But so Emily is, but Emily doesn't play drums in any of those other bands. So I think that's kind of like a nice return to her percussion roots in here. And I have no other projects, but I also am. It's kind of because I'm too scared to. So I like to follow Gabbie's vision wherever it leads.
Well, you better watch it, because otherwise she'll push you into your own band.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, she won't even be around anymore, and you'll be going, how did I get here?
Yeah, that could happen.
We'll be so supportive of each other. We don't even play music anymore.
We did joke one time that maybe we would have another band where it's my music and then you play bass and Emily still plays drums and it's the same three people, just in a different configuration. But yeah, it's Gabbie's music, and she has really good ideas for it overall. And if Emily and I do feel strongly about something, we'll speak up, and Gabbie hears us out, and we'll...
You still do what Gabbie says. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, if people want to check out the music, find out where you're playing, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, we have music's on Spotify, it's on Bandcamp. I guess it's on all the platforms, basically. And then, I guess... Instagram, that's a great place. Instagram.com/Gabbie Rotts, and Rotts is with 2 T's. And Gabbie was with 2 B's and an IE. That was all in the wrong order. But
That's all right.
GABBIEROTTS.bandcamp.com.
Enjoy. Why don't you? Enjoy it with us. Heaven forbid you want something else, so you leave me behind to go find yourself. On the road you meet somebody else, and then you find that you've lost yourself. Lord knows I can empathize with the haunting feeling that you've thrown away your life. In that vein, I won't waste my time waiting on you to make up your mind. Something always keeps me up at night, so I'll write some songs to keep me occupied. Thoughts of you have long gone by, but I'll conjure us if I need a rhyme. Maybe I'll see you in 15 years in a Midwestern bar with a shitty beer. We'll reminisce and say it's so weird. I never thought that I would see you here. I never thought that I would see you here. I never thought that I would see you here. But heaven forbid any of this would happen. If the creeks don't rise, I don't lose my head. I hope I love you until the end. I hope I love you until the end. I hope I love you until I'm dead.
Well, my name is James Carr. This is my second time on the Good Gracious show, so I'm really excited to be back. The last time was probably about 18 months ago when I was launching Lone Leaf Media. Actually, it was maybe even longer than that. But so we've been working for a couple of years and have been involved in a lot of local food events, really connecting people to local food, whether that's through content or events. And here specifically to talk about something I knew you'd be excited about, and that is the Farmer's Jam. And in my time working in local food, I've discovered that a lot of farmers are artists in general, but specifically musicians. And
because of all those down hours after the sun goes down, you got to entertain yourself on the farm.
You do. I think there's that
think
part
that's
of
historical.
it. And then there's also the part of it that really farming is very functional art. If you go to a lot of farms, now if you think about your big monoculture farms, that's not very artistic. There's rows of corn.
Yes, it's missing some of that creativity, we'll say.
Yeah, but when you go to a lot of the local farms here, there's like, you have flowers growing and herbs growing and there's butterflies and bees, and it really is, it can be beautiful. Of course, it can get crazy. You have a lot of rain like you did this summer, the weeds come up and all of a sudden maybe it doesn't look so pretty, but it's all a part of it. It's all a part of that process. And so I think there's a very natural connection between farmers and artists, and between farming and creating art. And so this was just sort of a really fun way. I've actually been thinking about this idea for a couple of years with a friend named Tanisio Sanima, who I met at Georgia Organics. And we've kicked around this idea for a while. And everything just kind of came together. We met up with Robbie Astrove, who is kind of like the Johnny Appleseed of Atlanta. And we just kind of talked about different ways. He's also a drummer, by the way, so a perfect example. And Tanisio, who I just mentioned, is a DJ. So right off the bat, it's just, it was right
your
there.
helpers were already musical, so that helped.
Yeah, and they're already engaged in farming, and like Robbie plants fruit trees already. So we came up with this idea to essentially have a benefit concert where farmers are performing and we're raising money to plant fruit on local farms. So the way we're going to raise this money is, of course, ticket sales, but we also have local jam that we prepared in partnership with the Learning Kitchen, which is at the Carr Market. And so they've basically prepared jam that all the proceeds from that will go towards planting trees. We're also going to have a little raffle at the Farmers Jam, which is going to be on Wednesday, November 14th at Star Bar. And all the proceeds from the raffle will go towards planting trees. And we're also going to give some to Concrete Jungle, so that over time, when this fruit becomes available, they can go and recruit volunteers to pick this fruit. And their mission is to take fresh fruit and deliver it to homeless shelters and soup kitchens and things like that. So we're trying to, have a good time at the jam, obviously. That's what it's mostly about. And then we're leveraging that opportunity to teach people about the picking, the planting, and the preserving of local fruit. And so we're trying to help farmers have more options at their farmers markets, because fruit is the number one most requested thing. That's an anecdotal story that I've heard from a lot of farmers and market managers. So fruit's a huge part of attracting customers to farmers markets. And then, any leftover fruit at the end of the day, it's one of the few things that you really can bring and donate to something. If a farmer is they're going to take all those peppers and sell them. But a fruit tree or some kind of vine can produce so much fruit that there is often enough left over for other people, unless the birds get it first.
Right.
But, it's kind of like fruit is really the gift that keeps giving. I mean, if you take care of a fruit tree for 3 to 5 years, you're going to have fruit for 75 years.
Right.
I mean,
unless you have squirrels.
Unless you have squirrels.
Okay, because I took care of my peach for way beyond 5 years, and still the squirrels would wait every day just looking at it, just waiting. And they knew exactly when that fruit was ripe, and they would just hit it like piranha.
Man,
it was horrible.
That happened to my neighbor who lives right across the street from me. He didn't get a single peach this year because the squirrels got them all. Yeah. And so there is... just as a point of clarification, there's something called the Alfie Orchard Project. Alfie is the Atlanta Local Food Initiative. And they do kind of a fundraiser and sell fruit that's designed for public spaces and community spaces.
Fruit trees and
fruit fruit.
Yeah, because
all
I
of
think
that.
I went to one, maybe Georgia Organics supported it at one time at North DeKalb Mall, I think it was. And it was, I got some stuff there that I didn't even know grew in Georgia.
I know, yeah. No, when Georgia Organics, when their conference is in Atlanta, they have historically tried to partner with the fruit tree sale to just attract as much attention to it. But with the Farmers Jam, we are specifically looking to plant on farms.
So are the farmers that are performing in the event, are they going to be the recipients of it, or are they just kind of being the mouthpiece and kind of the gathering point for other farms that'll get the fruit trees?
So originally... we'd kind of gone through a few different thoughts, but Robbie, he also manages the Alfie Orchard Project, and what they do is they have sort of an application, and then there's a review committee, and then depending on the money raised and how much trees can come, then they kind of like prioritize certain projects. So that's the kind of model we're looking to do. Currently, I know for sure of one farmer who is performing and has applied already. So, well, we're not anticipating a huge number of applications, nor are we really anticipating raising a huge amount of money in the first year. But it is something that we would like to build, and I think long term our goal is actually to help more farmers in rural Georgia build larger orchards, because they simply have the space for a reasonable sized orchard, whereas in a lot of farms in Atlanta, we've basically decided we're not going to do any trees because they don't really have the space for it. Also because berries are more typically associated with jam anyway. Yeah. But when you start getting out into, 50 miles outside of Atlanta, all of a sudden, for example, the Wrecking Barn Farm, one of our supporters and neighbors, they have 65-acre farm. They want fruit. Yeah. So eventually our goal would be, we partner with someone like Wrecking Bar. Yeah. Yeah, the fruit's not in Atlanta, but it's all coming back here. Right. And, at the end of the day, after having several conversations with farmers, most farmers in rural Georgia, at least who are participating in our farmers markets and selling locally, they're paying a lot more in taxes in Fulton County than where they live. And so it just really drove home that, food access, we often think about it as like almost like within reach, right? But if we can support the farmers who are traveling to Atlanta, we're waking up at 4 a.m. every Saturday to make it to market. Those are folks that we really need to support as well. Yeah. And there's a lot of funding opportunities for farmers in Atlanta, and that's awesome, of course. But to really have this like complete food system, I think we need to start focusing on rural America.
Yeah, building up. And that's a challenge. Everybody knows, farmers matter and food matters, but how do we fund those things, and how do we engage people? Because it's hard when you go to your local Kroger or Publix rather than a farmer's market, you have pretty much everything at your disposal.
Oh yeah, totally.
And so you don't say, hey, we're short on stuff.
Right.
But if you go to the farmer's market, let's say on a weekend, and you look and you go, these are the seasonal things that I'm supposed to be eating because this is what is grown here.
Well, and that's a great point. And we're getting to this. It's been I don't know about point of contention, but there's an ongoing debate about the value of local food, right? I mean, if you can go to Kroger, is it more a matter of just getting people to eat healthier food? How much does local food really play a part in that? And there's definitely a legitimate question to that, because when you sort of look at like our hierarchy of needs, demanding that people start eating local food is a bit of a stretch, considering people are not eating local food, and a lot of people aren't eating vegetables at all. So first of all, you have to start kind of getting people to eat vegetables. But then this is like where this interesting back and forth comes, and this is obviously my opinion. Yeah. But when you pull something straight out of the ground, it tastes a lot better than when you get it from a grocery store and it was picked 3 weeks ago. So
and traveled and who knows what else.
And who knows. Yeah. So then you start getting into the sustainability piece of that. Then you start getting into the community piece of that. Like, well, we should make sure that farmers in Georgia are getting paid more. Our tax money staying here. There's numerous benefits to buying things that have never left your state in terms of economic reasons. And then, emissions type of reasons is not traveling everywhere. But then to the point you just raised is that when you're eating a carrot in November as opposed to eating it in July, you're supposed to be eating carrots when they're growing. They're providing you with nutrients that you need at that time of the year. Something I was thinking about recently is a lot of things that grow after October are orange or yellow. Yeah. And that's the like
color palette.
Well, they're storing all that energy from the sun. So you're not getting that energy in the winter, but if you eat sweet potatoes and carrots, they've been storing that sun's energy for you. But if you're eating tomatoes, you don't need a ton of water right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
cucumbers and tomatoes are full of water.
Right.
And it's like, you needed that back when you were sweating every day.
Right.
Like you couldn't leave the house without sweating. That's when you need your cucumbers.
Right.
So it's like, I see both sides of the argument, but of course I fall on like the local foods. Like, let's get back into touch with nature's rhythm, and let's get the nutrients we need when we need them. And also then, you can reduce the cost too if you start learning how to preserve, which was sort of our goal here. Is like, yes, local tomatoes are quote unquote expensive, but farmers are practically giving tomatoes away by the end of the season because everybody's got tomatoes and everybody loves tomatoes. You can't possibly sell them enough. That's when you buy them, get the seconds, turn them into sauces, can them, preserve them. Then you have tomatoes all year round, and all of a sudden they're not that expensive.
Right.
But you try to buy tomatoes that are coming in from Chile in December, you could be paying for it.
Yeah. Well, so how many farmers do you have on this Farmers Jam? How many folks are involved? Or is it? I'm guessing it's an evolving.
It is definitely an evolving number. So far, I think we have 14 farmers who are going to be performing in some fashion. We've got some more, like Robbie, who I mentioned, performs fairly regularly, so he's ready to go. Will probably be a mainstay. And then we have a few folks, like for example, Brent Hall at Free Will Farm, who plays the washboard. This is not rocking that washboard every day, so he's going to hop on there, give us a couple of songs.
And you don't get a lot of solo washboard action either.
No.
You usually need an accompaniment.
Right, yeah. Maybe Brent's working on something that I don't know about. If we get a solo washboard performance, that'd be pretty amazing. Yeah. But Mario Cambardella, who's Atlanta's urban agriculture director, actually just had a baby. So congratulations to Mario and his family. He plays a little guitar. Has written a couple of songs here or there. I know he's written a couple of poems in his day, but he'll hop on for a couple of songs. So it's gonna be kind of a mixture of farmers who are really playing, and then people who are hopping on and hopping off and just kind of give the crowd a little bit of a thrill.
It's
a jam session. Everybody's coming in and out, And I think the part of the fun of this is, at least for folks who are, going to markets regularly and really like engage in food, is sort of like this, whoa, I didn't know you played guitar. Right. I didn't know you played this or did that. And that's been a fun part of it for me, meeting people who I was like, you're a trained singer? I had no idea. Yeah. And that's been a really fun.
Well, that'll be fun. So how long, it's at the Star Bar?
Star Bar, on Wednesday, November 14th. I think we're kicking things off around 8 o'clock.
Nice. Well, that should be great. And so then you can go, and if the music moves you, great, stay. But if you just want to buy some jam, you can also buy some jam. But, is it going to be all one kind of jam, or are we working on the season's leftovers as much as we can here?
It's basically the season's leftover. So technically, we're not even selling jam. It's apple butter and pear butter.
I gotcha.
But when you see the product, you'll realize it's basically apple jam.
It's still good on bread and biscuits.
Yeah, functionally, it's the same thing. But it's technically not jam. But this being year one, we started planning this in like late July, early August. So, again, strawberry season's done, blackberry season's done, blueberry season. You can still get some blueberries. There's some late blooming blueberries, but for the most part,
the big fruit, it's moving on.
It's moving on. Yeah. So Robbie was able to. He actually foraged like 75 pounds of pears.
Wow!
And that's how we turned those into some pear jam. And those are actually available all for purchase now, so you can purchase the jam, and we'll probably keep that jam going until it sells out for the rest of the year. So that jam is available on the Learning Kitchen's website, and if you check out Longleaf Media's Facebook page or our website, www.longleaf.media, you'll be able to find links to all this kind of stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in, man. That's great.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I always love coming down to the Wonder Shop.
Yeah. Well, that's it for another Good Gracious Show podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. You can check online and you're going to see in the show notes, you'll find out all kinds of links to those folks and good stuff. Video coming soon, I hope, for Gabbie. And if you want to find anything else, go to the website, goodgracioushow.com. You can stream everything from there, or you can sign up for the RSS feed, or if you want to get everything downloaded to your phone or your device. It's very simple. You can share this with your friends. Just say, hey, go to this link, and they can listen to their heart's content. You can also friend us on Facebook, Gigi Show Atlanta, Twitter, and a little bit of Instagram maybe, but mostly Facebook and a bit of Twitter. So, well, that's all I got. So, I'll end with be a good neighbor, go hug somebody, and we'll talk to you next week. Well, we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. See ya.